When you Google someone's name today, what comes up? You see their job title, their education, their social media, and along with that, then of course you see parts of their life that they choose to let you see, where they've traveled, what stuff they have, maybe how beautiful their apartment is or their house. Um, and they share, of course, a lot of stuff, and all of it is very curated. And that's all fine. There's nothing necessarily inherently wrong with that, maybe. I don't know. That's for you to decide. But what you rarely see is who they actually are, their kindness, their integrity, their values, what's important to them, what makes them tick. Yeah, and I wonder if that says a lot about who we are as a society and what we now value and what we deem as important. Somewhere along the way, we sort of stopped seeing each other as human beings and just started noticing each other and valuing each other based on what we do. We're sort of just human doings now. Our worth isn't even based on who we are. It's based on what we produce, what we achieve, what we earn, what we accomplish, what we have. And now, when you meet someone new, the first real question you almost invariably get asked is, what do you do? And what they're asking is, well, how much money do you make? How important are you? You know, if you're at a certain level of earning, then you rank a little bit higher. Not what do you love, not what makes you tick, not what gives your life meaning, just what do you do for money? How much money do you make? And that's all really that it seems is important now. I don't know, it makes me sad. It's just something that I think about. And anyway, all that just tells us sort of where can I rank you in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. Look, I get it. We live in an achievement society, um, a culture obsessed with productivity, success, constant self improvement, go, go, go. Hustle is glorified, more is better, exhaustion is normalized. And if you don't do that, you sort of feel like your self worth is tied to that. And if you don't do that stuff constantly, you're not constantly moving up the ladder and trying to achieve more and produce more, then you just are a failure. Is that what happens? Yeah, I don't know. Just getting some stuff for food here. Eating, that's all I do. That's something that's important to me. Food. I love food. Of course, social media only intensifies all this. God, I hate it. Constantly comparing our lives, our bodies, our careers, our lifestyles to what we see other people having or doing and sharing online. You know, we measure ourselves carefully against all these highlights, carefully curated highlights, of course, right? They're not sharing all the bad stuff, the fight that they had with their partner, their spouse, the shit that their kid got in school and all the drama that's going on. No, nobody really shares much of that stuff. Then we feel like we are left behind or we're falling behind. What do you mean? I'm 30 and I don't have a house and $200,000 saved? Good grief, I'm failing. I must be failing. No wonder we don't feel good enough. Why we feel like we should be doing more. This creates a dangerous loop. When you achieve something, you feel worthy. When you don't, you feel like a failure. Your self worth rises and falls based on performance. It's exhausting. Life isn't a constant upward climb. You're going to go up, you're going to go down. You're going to go up, you're going to go down. Failure is inevitable. Loss is inevitable. Plateaus are inevitable. In a culture that worships success, though, not achieving feels like constant failure. You've always got to be moving forward. That's why burnout, anxiety, depression, and chronic dissatisfaction are everywhere. We're told we can become anything, do anything, have anything. And when we don't, we blame ourselves. We don't blame the system, not the pressure, not the unrealistic expectations. We blame ourselves. Yeah. I wonder if this also explains the rise in narcissism, if there is such a rise. When identity depends on admiration, status, and external validation, naturally, we become obsessed with our own image. Likes become worth. Followers are now social proof that you exist and that your life has meaning. We start branding ourselves, marketing ourselves all the time, performing all the time just to get this social validation. Because if people stop noticing us, we feel like we stop existing. But here's sort of the deeper problem with that. When your self-worth depends on achievement, it's never really stable because achievement is just never guaranteed. Circumstances change, health changes, opportunities disappear, life happens. You just never know where things are going to go. And suddenly the thing that you built your whole identity on can vanish, leaving behind fear, emptiness, self-doubt, because you based everything on external validation. So what's the alternative? What if your worth didn't just come from your success? And I'm not saying success is bad and achievement is inherently bad. It's not. That's okay. But what if your value simply came from being human, from your capacity to feel, to love, to think, to grow, to experience things, not just based on what you produce? What if your self-worth came from alignment instead of achievement, from living in a way that reflects your values, from treating others well? What a neat idea that is. From pursuing what actually matters to you, not just what you think you have to do based on what society praises. That kind of worth is, of course, quieter, but it's also far more stable. Look, this doesn't mean that we stop striving to, try and improve ourselves and achieve things. It just means that we stop trying to tie our identity to outcomes. I'm not very good at this, by the way, but it's fun. And I think we should just be trying to have more fun all the time. We can still grow. You can still try and aim higher. Still try and build a meaningful life, whatever meaningful means to you, but without making our worth conditional. At the end of the day, your value doesn't increase when you succeed, and it doesn't decrease if you happen to fall a little bit short. Because the truth of the matter is, and we lose sight of this, you were already enough long before you achieved anything. It'd be nice to just get back to being human beings and not just human doings. That's it for this one. If you liked the video, click the like button. If you really liked it, click the subscribe button. Tell all your friends, or don't. Doesn't matter. I'm good either way.